See, that one day there was a king. The king got angry. He looked at his wife and he said, talaq, talaq, talaq. Right. You see the difference between the followers of, we're not talking about others, but the difference between us who take our madhab from the Ahlul Bayt is that Islam is a religion that once you deter away from the Ahlul Bayt, you are lost. It doesn't matter who you are, right? Our Prophet said, Inni tarikum fikum uthakalain, kitab Allah wa itrati Ahlul Bayti. I am leaving you two weighty things, the Quran and my family, the Ahlul Bayt. Hold on to both of these, not one, not the other, both, and you will never go astray. Alhamdulillah, we take our religion from the Ahlul Bayt. So, see, the issue is now that when the king did this, he was angry. Now that he's calmed down, he goes to his wife and his wife says, you can't touch me. He says, why not? You've given me a divorce. I'm not your wife anymore. You're not mahram. You can't touch me. Now the Shia jurisprudential laws in Islam that we have say to us that one man cannot divorce his wife more than once in one sitting. And the reason why the Prophet said this and the Ahlul Bayt said this is for this exact reason. In an angry state, you may say something that you don't mean, something that you're not trying to say. Amirul Mu'mineen says, a moment of patience in a moment of anger can save you 1,000 moments of regret. So what happens? She says, I'm not your wife anymore, you can't touch me. Is that if you divorce your wife, after waiting 4 months, you can't marry your wife again. Right? It's a common law. People are familiar with it. What's the law if you want your wife back? It's a sad law, but your wife has to marry somebody else. Consummate the marriage. Get divorced. Wait 4 months, then come back to you. What man would want this or allow this? So when the king was told that this woman is no longer your wife, he said, call for me all the scholars of Islam. Bring them all to my court. I want to have a conversation. So with Ahl Sunnah wal Jamaat have 4 imams. Abu Hanifa, Shafi'i, Maliki and Hanbali, right? The 4 imams. They take the Islamic law, jurisprudential legal rights from these 4 individuals. So one scholar from each 4 of these madhabs came to the king. All 4 said the same thing. Bacha, unfortunately, you're divorced. And what makes it worse is she has to marry someone else. And then she can marry you. He says, my Islam, the king is saying, my Islam is not a religion that would allow something like this. My Prophet wouldn't allow something like this. Is there any way out? Is there any other laws, any other rulings that I can use? Anything at all? No, this is the only ruling of Islam. Okay. Is there any other sect, group, denomination? There is, they're called Shias. They're not a lot. They're a bit crazy. But yeah, if you want, we can call somebody from the Shias. Yeah, definitely, bring them. So who do they call? Allama Hilli. Now before Allama Hilli arrives at the court of the king, one of the scholars says to the king, just before the Shias come, just give you a little bit of a background. He goes, be a bit careful. They're not fully there, they're a bit dodgy. Just be a bit careful. I'm just giving you a warning, that's it. So the king says, don't worry. So Allama Hilli enters into the court of the king. Instead of placing his shoes outside like everybody else did, he takes his shoes, folds them up, places them under his arm, and comes inside the king's court. And instead of sitting on the floor, Hilli comes and sits right next to the king. Right? As soon as he sits, one of the scholars turns towards the king and he says, I told you. I told you what these guys are like. So the king turns towards Hilli and he says, can I just ask, why did you not leave your shoes outside? Why did you bring them inside? So Allama Hilli says, unfortunately at the time of the Prophet, the people who used to follow the madhab of Abu Hanifa, they used to steal the shoes from outside the mosque. I don't want these people to steal my shoes, so I've brought them inside. Straight away the Hanafi scholar stands up, no, what are you talking about? Abu Hanifa wasn't even alive at the time of the Prophet, what are you on about? So they call him Imam Abu Hanifa, right? But who was he? The student of alayhi salam. Again, in poetry, I know this is an English lecture, but I'm Pakistani, so I can't help it. They say, Abu Hanifa bara muhtabar sa naam sahi. Abu Hanifa bara muhtabar sa naam sahi. Imam hoga tumhara, magar ghulam hai sadiq ka. That's how. So then Allama Hilli goes, no, I'm sorry, I didn't mean the people of Abu Hanifa. No. The followers of Imam Shafi'i used to steal the shoes. So the Shafi scholars, no, we weren't even there. Okay, I'm sorry, it was the Malikis. No, we weren't there. I'm really sorry, right? I didn't mean that. It was the Hanbalis. We weren't even there at the time of the Prophet. What are you lying for, Hilli? Okay, so you admit that all four of you weren't there at the time of the Prophet? No. Okay. When did they come? 300-400 years after the Prophet. Okay. Then he turns towards the king and he says, "O king, why are you taking your religion from those scholars that weren't even there at the time of the Prophet, that never even looked at the Prophet, that never even heard a hadith from the Prophet? Why are you confusing yourself with all these imams and things to take your religion from the madhab of the Ahlul Bayt? Our Ahlul Bayt derives from Imam as-Sadiq. Imam as-Sadiq was taught by his father, Imam al-Baqir. He was taught by his father, Imam as-Sajjad. He was taught by Aba Abdullah. He was taught by Imam Hassan, who was taught by Amir al-Mu'mineen, who was taught by Rasulullah, who was taught by Allah himself. Take your religion from us." And to answer your question, no, your wife and you are not divorced. And no, she doesn't have to marry somebody else before she comes back to you. No, none of this applies. Your nikah is fine.